Hello, my name is Sherry Savant. I'm going to be a youth counselor. I'll be interviewing Cecilia as a teen named Emily for her exit interview from our youth home network. After 2 years of rehabilitation and receiving her GED, she's trying to decide if college is right for her. She feels she cannot relate to the other traditional students because of her past, and she has shown interest in being a chef. Unbeknownst to her, the facility has a job training program that offers to help a student transition from their realities into a working environment. I'm trying to convince her that she can do great things despite where she comes from. It is about the path she chose and how comfortable she is with that decision. My 5 basic listening skills are empathic understanding, reflection of feelings, linking, summarizing, and paraphrasing. The skill set I'll be using is the 5 stages of micro skills session. All right, let's get started. Good afternoon, Emily. Before we get started, I want to state that this interview is for you and me to discuss your prospective future. I will not speak with your parents unless you give me their consent to do so. If any time I feel you or anyone else is in danger, I will report this to the proper authorities, but I will not speak on anything that we discussed today. Do you know what confidentiality means?
Yes, everything we talk about is discreet.
You are correct. I will not talk about anything about our conversation without your consent to do so. If I decide that there are some resources you could benefit from, I will require your approval to release any information. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Perfect. Okay, great. Today is our exit interview. What might you like to see as a result of us talking today?
I'm excited that I can finally leave this place after 2 long years. I'm ready to reacclimate back into society, and I cannot wait to see family and friends. I also talked to my parents about coming back home, and they said I can stay until I get my feet back on the ground. I'm so thankful. I'm glad they are okay with me living with them, especially with what I've done in the past.
That's great news. I'm hearing that you have familial support despite your shortcomings. Have your parents ever came and visited you here at the Youth Home Network?
Well, they kind of came more at the beginning 2 years ago when they initially dropped me off here. It was not until a month ago they started to visit again, and they received a letter sent to them saying I will be released from the Youth Home Network. They seemed complex that I was coming home. My mom said my sister misses me a lot though. I think my parents are still wary that I might revert back into my old ways because they have mentioned I would be on a very strict curfew once I return home.
It seems your parents are making adjustments at home, and it makes you feel uncomfortable because you are no longer the person you were 2 years ago. Although you were away from home, it sounds like your parents have been preoccupied with maintaining it while you were away. And your sister anticipating your release shows that they love you, Emily. I'd like to hear your story. Can you tell me more about your sister?
I am the middle child of my parents' 3 kids. I have an older brother named Mark and a little sister named Leslie. She likes to write poems, which she has sent me a few in the last year, one of which has inspired me to pursue my goal of becoming a professional chef. I really love my little sister. We have always been close growing up until I reached grade school. That's when I started to have more friends to hang out with around my age after school. We became distant and kind of just stayed in each other's lanes. Leslie has always been my advocate to my parents when I used to screw up. She always covered for me.
Leslie is a very supportive and seems to understand you quite well enough to continue to reach out to you while you have been working by yourself. It is good for you to know that Leslie is still uplifting you during your journey to recovery. Emily, your aspirations for being a cook are wonderful. I noticed in your case that you enjoy volunteering at the downtown soup kitchen quite a lot, to the point where you would even start to direct what people should do when preparing the foods.
I really loved to cook ever since I was a kid, when I used to help pour pancakes on the grill with my grandmother every Sunday morning. Granny Belle always made a grand breakfast to bring the family together on the weekends up until she passed. She was always giving me words of encouragement in the kitchen that still circle my head now. This is why I want to have a breakfast diner in the future so I can provide a safe place with a hot meal.
Wow, that's surely inspirational, Emily. You said that you want to provide the same environment that your grandmother once created for your family, which means you will develop the skills needed to run a diner Have you considered going to culinary art school?
It has crossed my mind a few times. However, I'm not the best at studying, and I don't want to go back to school right now. I want to reconnect with my family in order to rebuild that trust I lost when I was doing a lot of street work.
What would you want to happen from being more connected with your family?
I don't know really. I just want them to support me going forward. I feel like I failed in life and no one cares about me. So if I can become closer with my family and help them understand how I operate as this new individual, then I will gain more trust. I do not want to feel like I do not belong with my family, which were my emotions not too long ago.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You have had some anxiety around being a part of your family that has caused you to ostracize yourself as a way to cope in the past. However, you understand that going forward, you have to show more of yourself to them in order to make everyone more comfortable with you resurfacing back into their lives. I understand you completely in pursuing this endeavor. However, you are providing an extra step that your family has not asked of you. You have already mentioned that your sister and Granny Belle have always been there for you, along with the fact that your parents are allowing you to stay with them until you get back on your feet. It sounds like to me that you have enough support under your belt here while you leave Youth Home Network. They're just waiting on you to figure out what your future holds.
Miss Vaughn, you simplified that so easily that I never thought to look at it that way. I guess in some aspect, you are right about me having support. I'm just scared of going back to school. In general, I think I do not deserve to be there. I want to learn new things, but I'm afraid of being in a classroom because I have ADD and I cannot stay focused in class. This has been a struggle for a long time and something I still get very anxious about every time I think about learning things. I really need something less traditional, and I do not think there is an environment like that.
You are very in tune with your predicament. I really want to help you transition into the society without being anxious about your capabilities. Have you ever heard of Music City Works?
No. Does it help me get a job?
Actually, yes. It does help you get a job, but also providing job training for you to be considered for jobs in the food sector. All the things you have told me about your love for culinary arts by wanting to own a diner, but you fear schooling because of your attention deficit disorder. There's a program called Music City Works that has been the driving force behind creating job training in the culinary sector, a field where there are well-established pathways to mid-level jobs that do not require higher education. This program plans the development of a higher level training that will move individuals more quickly to middle wage positions. This is hands-on training that will allow you to be able to learn the skills needed to intern at restaurants instead of starting at entry-level positions. Would you be interested in pursuing this program?
Yes, this is actually something I would really love to get into. When can I sign up?
Perfect. I can print you out an application before you leave the premises. As we come to a close, do you have any other questions about this exit interview?
Nope. I think you are very thorough and so helpful that I cannot even express how much better I feel about my future.
Emily, you are truly a joy to have in my office, and I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. You have truly matured into an amazing woman since being here at the Youth Home Network. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to contact me. I will provide my contact information in your going home packet. Good luck on all your future endeavors.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.